Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Punchboard-A-Holic. I'm your host, Anthony Slongo. Today we will be going over an upcoming Kickstarter from the confusing dreams of James Freeman, Hamsters vs. Hippos. To check out the Kickstarter, please check the link in my description and it'll take you to the Kickstarter site. The hamsters have escaped their zoo enclosure and are making a run for it. But suddenly they come across a pond with their most prized possession, the lotus flower. Unfortunately, lurking below the surface are hippos looking for a snack. Each player must risk gathering lotus flowers versus leaving the pond before the hippos decide it's time to feast. Hamsters vs. Hippos is a light press-your-luck game of tile flipping and point gathering. The player with the most lotus flower at the end of 4 rounds wins. Hamsters vs. Hippos is a tin robot game that plays 1 to 6 players. It takes 15 to 30 minutes to play depending on the number of players. 1 to 4 players, you're going to set up a 5x5 grid. 5 to 6 players, you will get a 7x7 grid. Alright, let's go ahead and unbox. I do want to point out the cool artwork. We have a angry hippo that is just, he's hungry. And you have this cute little innocent hamster that has no idea what's lurking underneath the water. We have our directions. These are very handy in the game, so I would recommend keeping it with you as you're playing. There's a nice glossary of all the different tiles and what each tile does, so keep it handy when you're playing. We have our player boards. You get 6 of them, all different colors to delineate which color you are, or hamster. It's going to have a different color bag. So this one's blue, this one's red. We have our hamster meeples. Very cool. Love that they chose wood. Some games choose plastic, but a lot of them choose wood, and I don't know, there's just something about a wood meeple. I love it. We have our 52 tiles. So they all have this lily pad design on them. And then out of the 52, we have 4 hippos. We have our pink lotus flower that is worth 1 point. We have our blue star lotus flower that is worth 3 points. And a bowl to use for our general supply. Any unused lotus flowers will go in here during gameplay. Alright, so let's take a moment and go over the different tiles. The first is the hippo. When revealed, the round is immediately over for whoever reveals the hippo, as long as it's the first hippo. If it's the second hippo, if you haven't made it safely off the pond, the round ends for everybody and you lose any points that you may have gained that round. The next tile is peek. Peek can help you because it's going to give you the ability to flip a tile just to take a peek if that's where you want to go. And obviously if I'm peeking and I come across the hippo, yeah, I don't want to go back there. So peek can really help you. Then we have move a lotus flower. This can either help you or it can affect the person that you're playing against. When you're moving a lotus flower, you are going to move it from an adjacent tile to another tile. Usually when you're doing this, you're going to go to a space that's closest to you, you know, if the goal is for you to get the point. But if the person that you're playing against is going to land on that square next, well, if you moved it, they're going to go to that square and they're not going to get the point. So now you can see how it can affect who you're playing with. Steal a lotus flower. When you come across this, you will take 1 point from another player's points collected this round. Now, there's also the change factor. So if they collected 3 points and all they have is 3 points, you're going to take one of their points and they'll have to make change. So they're going to get 2 points back. You're not getting the full 3 points if that's all they have. They'll take 2, you'll take 1. All right, next we have lose a lotus. So when you flip this tile, you return 1 point from what you have collected this round back to the general supply, and you're going to use the change factor for this one as well. So if you only gain 3 points, you're not going to lose all 3 points. You're going to lose 1, and you'll still have 2. Then we have splash. So you fell off your lily pad. When this happens, your turn is immediately over and you lose any unused actions. So your round is not over like it would be if you got eaten by the hippo. This, you fell in the water. It could be your first action. That's it. You have to wait till your turn comes around again. All right, next we have springy pad. Your next move must be to a lily pad that is 2 lily pads away, orthogonally or diagonally. So this meaning you can't go to the adjacent tile. It has to be 2 tiles over. This can really affect you because the people that you're playing as may have already flipped those tiles. So if that happens, there's not much you can do. You may have to end your turn if that's the case. But you can either go 2 tiles over and flip in a straight line or diagonally. Next we have blank. Just what it looks like, nothing happens. It's a free space for you to go on. You're not going to fall in the water. You're not going to get eaten by a hippo. But you're also not going to collect any points. So, blank's not all that fun. All right, we have 1 lotus flower. When this is flipped, you gain 1 lotus flower. Pretty easy to understand. Then we have 2 lotus flower. When this one is flipped, you gain 2 lotus flowers. So you get 2 points. And then we have the blue star lotus flower. When this one is flipped, you pick up 3 lotus points from the general supply. Now that we understand the tiles, let's go over setup and gameplay. All right, so during setup, you're going to lay all the tiles flat, including the hippos. And everybody who's playing is going to take turns flipping tiles. The first person to flip a hippo goes first. So in that case, I don't get to go first because I've picked 2 lotus flowers. So the next person would go. Nothing. There we go. So it's that easy. Kind of the same way you're going to take the 4 hippos out of this pile, mix it up real good, and then draw 23 cards, and then add 2 hippos in. Mix it up real good, and that's how you're going to create your 5x5 grid. All right, as you can see, it's fairly easy to set this game up. I set this one up for a 1-2-4 player game. It's a 5x5 grid, and we have our 9 pink lotus flowers. If it was going to be a 5-6, it would be a 7x7 grid and still have 9 pink lotus flowers in the center. So, gameplay. Really easy. You get 2 actions every turn. And there are 4 rounds. The first round, you start with 23 basic tiles and 2 hippos. The second round is 22 tiles and 3 hippos. Fourth, 21 and 4 hippos. And then the fourth round is the same, 21 and 4. But it's really easy. Your first action is going to be moving from your game board to any perimeter tile. So I may want to take my blue meeple and start all the way in this corner. When I do that, I'm going to flip as my first action, and it says I get to move a lotus. So we talked about this a little bit before. I get to move a lotus flower from an adjacent tile because, well, no matter where you're at, I guess there's always going to be an adjacent tile if there's a lotus available. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this lotus and move it to this tile. So that's my first action. My second action, I could either, if I had gained some lotus flowers, I could leave the pond or go for more. Just remember, the more players you have, the quicker the board turns over and the better chance of flipping a hippo. So because I just flipped one, I'm going to keep going. So I'm going to where I put the lotus flower. Just remember, when you earn a lotus flower in that round, do not put it on your game board. Put it next to your game board. This way, if you lose any lotus flowers, you're not mixing it in with what you won in a previous round and confusing, how many actual lotus points you had. So keep them separated at the end of the round. If you make it out of the round, then you get to keep your flowers on your board. So we're going to flip and splash. That's it. My turn is over. Just my turn, not the round. So that's it. So the next is going to be the red hamster. The red hamster is going to come over to this square. First action, going to flip, and I get to do springy. With springy, remember, I can move 2 tiles either straight or on an angle. So let's go on an angle. Going to gain my 1 lotus. And we're going to flip. And I get to gain another 1. All right. So now it's the white hamster's turn. This hamster is going to come right here. We're going to flip the tile, and I get to peek. So we're going to peek under this lily. Ooh. It's another peek. So with my second action, we're going to move here. We're going to gain our lotus. And we already know it's a peek. Normally you wouldn't share that with your, people that you're playing with, but so we know where we want to go, but can we get there? Okay. So that is the end of the white hamster's turn. Just a turn, though. That's not the round. Okay? So, goes back to the blue player. The blue player is going to come over here. He's going to gain his lotus. We're going to flip. Oops. I dropped my lotus in the pond. So when you drop it, it goes right into your general supply. With the second action, I'm going to move to this one. We've got to make up for what we lost. So I'm going to gain a lotus. And we're going to flip. Oh, no. And just like that, I lost both my points. And the round is over for the blue hamster. Okay. So now it goes to the red player. Do I want to continue going and add to my 2 points? We already have one hippo out of the way. Do I want to save the lotus flowers that I already gathered, or do I want to risk losing mine and losing the white hamsters as well? Well, let's go at least one more action. So we're going to move here. We're going to gain another point, and we are going to flip. Going to gain 2 more points. So that is my first action. With my second action, I think it's safe to say, let's leave the pond. Now the white hamster knows what's under this one, so we're going to go ahead and take that action. We are going to gain our lotus. We're going to flip, and we're going to gain 1 more lotus. Now, he's the last one left. He can keep going. Does he want to be greedy and go for more? Or does he want to risk losing everything? So, we're going to go for more. He's going to come over here. He's going to gain another lotus. Because, he's already losing. And we're going to flip. And just like that, he gains a 3. So, that would be the last action for that turn. But because he's by himself, he can keep going. So at the start of the next turn, we're going to go ahead and move here. We're going to gain 1 more lotus. We're going to flip. He's going to gain 2 more. And now I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to leave the pond. I'm going to come over here. I get to take all of my lotus and claim them. Same thing with the red. He's going to claim all of his lotus. And that's the end of the round. So round 1 done. We only found 1 hippo. Again, there's a second hippo out there. Not when I set this up, I had no idea where I put anything. So this is news to me. Let's see where that second hippo was. Wouldn't that be funny if I forgot to put... Oh, okay. So we didn't forget. Second hippo is in there, just not in a spot that really mattered. So that's the end of the round. And I think that's as far as I'm going to go with this playthrough. Great game. I really enjoyed it. It does say 14 and older. Honestly, I am comfortable playing this with my kids. I have a 6 and a 4-year-old. 4-year-old might be a little difficult with. The 6-year-old, though, I think he would have a lot of fun with this. I don't know if the rating is because of the small pieces or the idea of a hippo eating a hamster. But, this is... I'm not worried, about, a 6-year-old playing this game. I will say, though, for game night, this is a perfect game to start any game night. It's quick. It's easy. I've started way too many game nights with a strategic game that takes 2 hours. And by the time you're done, you're like, man, I don't want to play another game tonight. But this would be perfect to get everybody started, to get everybody pumped up. So check it out. It is Hamsters versus Hippos. It is on Kickstarter now. Check my description. There is a link. And please, if you liked my video, give me a like, give me a subscribe, and follow for more. Thanks, everybody. Have a great one.